In this episode, we are going to dive into our Disney trip. Not necessarily what we did, but some of the things that we noticed. Health-wise, vitality-wise, handling vacation-wise.
We could talk about what we did in that
Yes,
sense.
I don't want people to think we're just talking about Disney rides, though. It's not going to be the point of this episode.
No, we're not going to tell you which rides to go on.
But first, new listeners. We have a 3-episode rule. If you are still listening at the 3rd episode you listened to, this is your 3rd, hit pause, leave a quick 5-star review, tag us, share it on social media. Returning listeners, you already knew that. Free episode, no ads. We sponsor ourselves. We give you free tools. All we ask is you share the story. Help us help somebody else. If you got some value, some insight, you're still listening, obviously, allow somebody else to do the same. Give them the opportunity. So, main point of this episode, some lifestyle stuff, things that we do once in a while that a lot of people do all the time, not necessarily going to Disney, but the way things kind of flow, which we'll break down. How we felt because of that, how we mitigated some of those things. Let's dive in.
Disney with a 4.5-year-old and a 7-month-old. So we did it. I think it's important to note that we did it in 2 days. 4 parks, 2 days, baby, first time traveling with the baby.
We will probably never, ever, ever go to Disney longer than 2 days. Like, we were there over 4 days. We stayed 3 nights, but park 2 days. We did that last year.
That's usually enough for us with the kids at this age, at least. Maybe it'll be different when Cora's like 10.
I don't see that happening.
Okay. Anywho, first and foremost, first time doing anything is going to be stressful. I mean, I feel like that's with anything that you do. Like, you kind of have a little bit of anxiety going into it. So traveling with a baby for me was like, we never traveled on an airplane with Kai.
We would drive to vacations. Have to be driving distance.
Which was only like 1 or 2 maybe.
Virginia
when he was
Beach.
A baby.
Well, we went to Vermont, plenty. New Hampshire.
Those were close though. So anywho, my point is we never have flown with the baby. Kai's first flight was when he was 3. So this was something that was definitely new for us as far as taking Cora on a plane, how to navigate travel with a little baby who is on nap schedules and you just don't know how they're going to act or react. So stress initially and immediately higher than baseline leading into the trip, the day that we traveled, while we're there. And it's not to say that like I was emotionally distraught and crying. Like, a lot of people think stress is like you're very emotionally upset.
I didn't yell today, so I wasn't stressed.
So it's like stress can be physical, obviously. Exercise is a stressor on your body, for example. Mental, emotional. So there are different levels to stress, and just having to think about all of those extra things and think about getting on an airplane with the baby, making sure everybody had what they needed, making sure she wasn't crying. Like, stress levels were just naturally higher than our norm, which we are both very good at managing those stress levels on a day-to-day basis. Usually. So stress levels up. Sleep, I would argue I slept pretty damn good in Disney. Maybe you didn't. But
first night, anytime we go anywhere, the first night is horrible, and I think that's just your body's natural defense system. You're in a new surrounding. It's not your environment. Your body's on high alert. Any little thing's gonna wake you up. So I was up the entire night.
The first night was not the greatest, but other than that, I slept pretty good. But still, you're not sleeping at home. You're not in your bed. Maybe there's like noises around you, or you just have a little bit more anxiety and stress that may impact your sleep. So sleep could be off. What else? The one thing, I guess the one area that we did not have any issue with was our movement. That was a positive.
Honestly, though, that was the same movement I get here.
Same.
Like, I'm 20 to, like, on an active day, I'm 20 to 23,000 steps. On an average day, I'm 15 to 17,000 steps. And I think it was right around 21,000 a day.
It wasn't too much more than my norm here. But again, that allowed us to feel our best in that aspect, as far as we were not sitting all day. We every day hit more than 15,000 steps, if not upwards of 20, 25. So that
movement check, sleep check. No training. I know you ran.
I ran the last day. I was planning on running more, but you're just so exhausted from being in the park all day in the sun and like just everything that I only ran the last day. And it was a recovery run, it was fine. But Disney does not have like hotel. I mean, maybe the nicer hotels have gyms, like I don't know if you know this. You're the one who researched them. The Polynesian, or I don't know if I feel like I'd never hear about people working out at Disney as far as lifting.
you're going for rope drops and you got kids. I feel like, I don't know, they might, but I didn't look into that.
Maybe they do. If they do, let us know.
I'm sure all the condos and stuff for real, local, I'm sure do, but the resorts. That's
true. When we went with my parents, we stayed at like not on Disney property, but we stayed at one of my mom's friends' condos, and that had like a tiny little gym. Remember we worked out there?
I don't remember.
Anywho, it's possible maybe in certain scenarios, but our hotel did not have a gym, so I ran the last day and that was that. But I mean, again, we were only there for a short duration, so it wasn't a big deal. I got my workouts in still for the week before and after we left. So
movement, sleep, training,
stress,
nutrition was hit and miss. So
it wasn't terrible.
No, we controlled what we can control. When there were things we wanted to enjoy, we enjoyed them.
I will say the meal. Go ahead.
The meal that I enjoyed the most, and that I look forward to having the most, probably was that Thanksgiving dinner. So it was the same dinner we had last year, different place. It was like the sister restaurant right next door, the Horseshoe Diner or something. And it was Liberty Tavern last year. But it's basically like endless Thanksgiving food. You got your turkey, your stuffing, your amazing mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. They had mac and cheese.
There were no vegetables, were there?
Salad.
Oh yeah, there was.
Potato is a
vegetable.
vegetable.
Salad was really good.
Potato's a vegetable.
Well, I just meant like greens.
The salad.
Yeah.
Salad first thing. And then they had that. What was that? Gooey toffee cake or whatever.
Gooey toffee cake.
Gooey toffee cake. But the meal itself, I mean, it didn't taste like it was loaded up with oil. Like it was delicious. Tasted like Thanksgiving. I felt really good. I had a ton of meat. I just kept doing rounds of stuffing, turkey, and cranberry sauce.
If you're in Magic Kingdom and low on protein, that's your place to go. Mm-hmm. It's all you can eat, right?
Yeah. No, it's endless. Yep.
So, but they're smart because they serve you the huge bowls of salad first.
And then they let you sit for 25 minutes after that before they start.
You up a little bit.
Because you're so damn hungry from running around the park. So you eat all of the salad and then you sit for 25 minutes. So it kind of expands in your stomach and you're less hungry. But I made it a point to go 3 rounds.
But honestly, so we did quick service everywhere. We did our hotel breakfast, which was fine. It was like basic egg sandwiches, basic eggs.
Fake ass eggs, though. I started getting sick. I got sick by the end of it.
I mean, whatever. It's probably was still protein, hopefully. So basic breakfast. We got fruit with that. I mean, there were healthier options. It wasn't straight up like, I don't know, pancakes and waffles. So we would do that in the morning, and then we would do quick service for lunch.
That smokehouse that wasn't bad at all either.
Yeah, so in Epcot, there was some kind of smokehouse. I don't know the name of it. Almost every place I got a salad, actually, for my lunches. So they did have, like, healthier things that you could get. It's just how many people are choosing the salad when you have, like...
You also need calories. So it was like, could you even put protein on it? I was looking at them.
Yeah, I got protein on it.
So I went the smoked chicken thigh with the smoked chicken breast, and then I forget what else with it. But I needed more calories. Like, we're running around all day. I couldn't have a 300 calorie salad for my lunch.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine for me. I think it had rotisserie chicken on it that was smoked, and it had a few different kinds of vegetables, and it was fine. But my point was, like, you think Disney and you immediately think like the worst possible foods, but there are decent options if you look for them.
You can have plenty of shitty options, and you can load up on all the sugary shit that you want. Yeah. But there are places to make it passable and to get by.
That's the mindset, right, that a lot of people have when they go on vacation is, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm not going to think about anything. I'm just going to eat what I want and overindulge and sleep in and not have a routine. That's typically what we find with clients who come to us. Like, that's where their mindset goes when they're on vacation, because they're so strict and regimented, some of them, with everything at home. It's like they go completely off the rails when they're not at home and they're vacationing. We don't really advise that. And let's talk about what we would suggest. Or is there anything else you want to touch on before we talk about what we would suggest?
No, I mean, right to that point, even right on the prospect calls, we have the discovery calls that I have with clients coming on, we tell them that we hope, or I tell them I hope that they're going on vacation, they have a fun weekend planned, whatever, so that we can practice these intuitive phases. And if they don't, then we'll plan and we'll schedule it anyway and just pretend. But the point being, like, the shit can't just hit the fan when you go away, when you go on vacation. We don't want you tracking. Like, that takes away from the fun that you're having. Don't want you to, skip out on an activity so you can go to the gym. That's unnecessary. So we'll talk about intuitive things. Like, what are the basic things we just talked about, or what we're talking about now is controlling the controllables. And the point of that isn't because, I've got this goal and I've got to lose 10 pounds by next month and whatever. For myself personally, it's because if I don't keep these things in check and I don't sleep, I'm running around, I eat whatever the hell I want, you focus on all the junk food because I don't ever eat that, I'm not going to enjoy that vacation. I am going to be very tired. My stomach is going to feel like dog shit. I'm going to be in a bad mood the entire time. And even when I was controlling all those things, when I was really sick, that was how I was anyway. I wanted to leave our honeymoon in Maui after day 2 or day 3 because I felt physically horrendous.
And it got to the point where I remember you saying you didn't even want to travel anywhere. Like you
No.
had anxiety to travel because of
Horrible
how bad
anxiety
you felt.
because every time I jumped off the plane, I felt like shit the moment I stepped off. And here we are fucking 10 hours behind on the other side of basically other side of the planet on Hawaii, the most isolated civilization, like body of land in the world, I believe, is Hawaii. So you fly in there and like, okay, what happens when I feel like shit? And what happens when I have to take this long flight back home? And I felt terrible. And I had anxiety anytime you flew anywhere, anytime we did anything, even on a hike. I wouldn't want to go hike out 4 hours in one direction because I knew we had to come back. So if I was feeling shitty along the way, it was double that time. So bringing it all the way back to vacation, I was at a point back then when I could still control everything I could control, and that was to just not die, but I would still be in a horrible mood. Whereas now, like, I'm in a much better place, and as long as I control those things, like, I have energy, and I am sleeping well, and my stomach doesn't make me feel like I'm dying. I'm not waking up with heart palpitations that I was having and just not being able to breathe and all these horrible things. So that was kind of forced upon me, but I've continued those habits so that, aside from not dying, that's no longer the case, I can just enjoy vacation as much as possible. And this is what's applicable to everybody else. And I talk about on those calls is you're not going to have as much fun doing all those things that you think are going to allow you to have more fun and just, I get to let loose and not worry about it. You're going to feel like shit half the time. And you're going to come back and really feel like shit. So you can control a couple things: a morning glass of water, a walk after lunch, prioritizing plants and whole foods and protein for each meal. So you have the ability to go do all the fun things and enjoy all the things without feeling like shit.
It's ironic because I find that so many people are still adopting the mindset of, I'm going to exercise for my bikini body, or I'm going to exercise for my summer body. Or like right now, we have had an influx of clients. We always get an influx of clients this time of year because people start to realize summer is coming.
Summer's red.
And they want to look good for summer, which there is nothing wrong with that. But why not want to look good for the whole year? And why not want to feel good for the whole year?
The list of posts that I have that I'm not doing because I'm building all this stuff for work, that's the first one on there. Is summer shred is such a cop-out because you should be doing things that allow you to look and feel amazing the entire year.
You don't have to just look good in the summer.
You're settling for feeling like shit 9 months of the year so you can do a quick cut, look okay. You're not going to look great, most of you, if you cut for 3 months.
It's going to take much longer than that.
You're not going to look great. So you're doing all that. You're suffering. You're not feeling good. Vitality plummets. Energy plummets. So you can drop some weight, most of which is going to be muscle because you're dropping it quick. And then you're going to go back to what you're doing before, as opposed to implementing lifestyle and nutritional protocols and training protocols that make you feel good and you can do year round. So energy is up. You look great naked the entire year. It's not just for summer. But we're on this stupid seesaw because nobody processes that. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want for 9 months. And then,
shit,
my shirt has to come
coming
off. Yep, 3 months. Let's hit to it.
Yeah, so let this be a public service announcement that there's more to life than being shredded for summer, and that you can look your freaking best and still feel good
all the
for
time.
The full year. Spring, summer, winter, fall. Period.
That's it.
Back to Disney, we kind of went on a little tangent there, but
stress,
overall,
nutrition, movement, training, and stress we can throw in as the mindset. So we have training, nutrition, mindset, movement, and habits. So the habits are the fifth thing that we didn't really talk about yet, but I just we did because I kind of alluded to it as far as the intuitive stuff. the little things. So I skimmed through as far as what makes me feel good while we're away and things we talk about on that client call. But it could be 3 things. It could be 4 little things, again, to re-highlight those. A morning glass of water. Maybe you meditate before bed. Take a walk at lunch, or you're walking the entire time. So that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Maybe it's a sunrise walk, so you're still getting that morning sunlight. And then prioritizing a plant and a protein portion at every single meal. Those 4 things can be your stable baseline. And the reason we practice it and we highlight that during something that we want to be intuitive on, like a vacation, is because this is the approach you're going to take for the rest of your life. You're not going to be tracking calories and macros for the rest of your life. You're not going to train the same way every day for the rest of your life. So what are the things you can do without even thinking about it that make you feel really good? The little things that just become second nature is like, oh, when I do these things, I don't have to worry about anything else. I know I'm going to maintain. I might even continue to see some slow progress by doing these little things. So those little habits are things, your coach, if you're working with us, is going to talk to you specifically on based on your goals, based on your lifestyle, based on what's going on. If you're doing this on your own, you're just listening to the podcast, just take notes. Like, what things make you feel good? What habits can you implement based on when you move your body, how you move your body, what you eat?
You should all be aware of your habits. If you're not aware of what your habits are and you're sitting here listening like, I don't know my habits.
That's your action
Figure
task for
them
today.
out. That is your action step. Figure out what your habits are, good and bad, and figure out how you can keep the good ones rolling no matter what phase of life you're in, no matter where you're going on vacation, summer vacation, whatever it is. What can you be consistent with for that longer term? If you have minimal on that list, add a few. Josh gave you 4 examples right there. Take those and run with them.
Easy peasy. I think that covers everything I wanted to touch on for Disney. I got my slice baby hat on, starting to warm up. I'm bringing Kai out to the range, ripping those slices.
That has nothing to do with anything we just talked about.
Our lifestyle involves golf now. It's back.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do a get fit for golf episode. Do you have to be fit for golf?
I think people are starting to now. They're realizing if they're actually strong, they can swing harder and in better form. But I don't know that that's necessary.
Okay. Well, anywho, I hope you all enjoyed Josh's hat for those who are watching on YouTube.
Slice, baby.